Hey, look, do you know what happened? I just cut it off and cut it back on again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm getting a... Yeah.
Hey, we were totally live for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But Twitch was like, you know what? I don't believe you're live. And I'm like, come on, Twitch, maybe I'm live. And it's like, nah. To the point it made me blink. And you know what happens? You're like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut this thing on. And cut it back on again. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, ready for another weekly daily Wednesday episode 379. We're going to be talking about bookworms because worms are delicious. They're the hottest thing this week. I'm going to try to explain to you why Reddit is, all the cool subreddits are set to private right now. Interfacing Linux, got a new one of those out. That's going to be fun. And Hunter Killer Robot Raspberry Pi Powered Puppers.
Yes.
Which is not going to be the show title because it's incredibly long.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Boom. Let me get that live and going for the pre-show. Look at that. Hello, Earth. Darren. I think I got all the social media stuff out. I got everything loaded up. We're going to get to it today. We got our 10-minute countdown timer going before we're going to jump all over you with this stuff. Do get a storm coming in, but we've had storms coming in and around all day, so that's kind of par for the course. I just throw that out there just in case. Just in case, power blinks usually if the power blinks, but if something down the line goes out and I'm like, poof, disappear. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get a little bit of forewarning. Yeah, middle of the week, Jill. Middle of the week. And you have a new companion PC next to you.
I sure do.
Jill's going to tell you about that at the beginning of the show. What else do I have? Oh yeah, I got to put my little notes. I played a little bit of the Lies of P. That was kind of interesting. That is the new Bloodborne Souls-like, but it's leaning on the Pinocchio character.
Oh.
Geppetto's puppet.
Geppetto.
And, all the regulars that are in there, but it's very Dark Souls-like with the combat. It's a beautiful looking game. Interesting to play. I'm never going to go through it because it's too Dark Souls-y for me, but it's that sluggish plotting combat you get.
Yeah.
And but it looks really, really nice. It works at 300 Proton. Performance is great. Free demo. Download it, go play it if you're into the Souls games, or if you just like walking around steampunkish, Bioshock-ish type atmosphere, just to look around,
Yeah, I love that. That's what I like to do in those games. I love the open world aspect. Like Skyrim. I think I've played through the main campaign in Skyrim once. It's usually when I play it, I just go explore.
I've never beat it. Oh. I got to the part where you travel to the end realm, wherever that's at. In Skyrim, the sky's all crazy and messed up where you got to defeat the last dragon. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. And I went back. And I've never beat Skyrim. I have no desire to ever go back and beat it. But Skyrim's changed so much since we first started playing it.
I know. Yeah.
I quit playing Skyrim when they introduced the ability to build houses. And I'm like, no, we're not playing Sim Skyrim 2000 year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do have the remastered one, but I haven't touched it. I just bought it because you get, high resolution, so I hadn't played it since the original.
Those crooks got $20 from me too, Jill, and I fired it up. I'm like, this doesn't look $20 different. I was expecting to be blown away, re-engrossed in it, right?
Yeah.
Like when you play an HD remaster or something like that. Oh, this is great. This is all new. This looks like Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks better than it originally did, I'm sure, but I couldn't remember because it'd been 7 years since I played it.
I know. Yeah. It took me a while to get back into it again. Hi, Biatko. Hi, Steve Husband. Hi, Artherin. Yeah, Skyrim can be boring. It's very slow developing. That's usually why I just kind of pop in and I'll play an hour and just explore.
I'm not going to get onto anybody for playing boring games because I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla this week.
Oh.
And it's been the same game since Odyssey, basically, with like different texture packs. And what I like doing in Assassin's Creed is very simple. I like finding a little town or a village or an encampment of baddies. And I don't do this intentionally. I laughed the other night because I had a couple of minutes. I was in here and I'm like, oh, let's play around with that. And I'm exploring around the world looking. I'm trying to upgrade my town, ironically enough. And I get to I just an encampment and they're all overpowered. So I'm like, hey, what? I'm going to kill this guy. And this guy's like, no, you're not. Foom. And just like kills me instantly. I'm like, oh, it's like that? What do? I spend the next 3 hours meticulously going around and sneaking around the camp and killing every single last one of them. And I'm like, I'm good. Being all stealthy.
Very good. I'm forgetting the one that's takes place in the Spanish village in Spain. That one.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. I only played about an hour of it, but it was really beautiful. I remember when that one came out. It was.
It might have been the second.
I thought it was the second.
I downloaded the first one because everyone, I was talking about Assassin's Creed Origins, and they're like, oh, no, it's not Assassin's Creed. It's not real Assassin's Creed, Finn. It's not from its roots. And I downloaded it, and I played the first one. I put about 2 hours into it, and I'm like, yeah, it is. I mean, it's more open world.
Oh, Oblivion. Yeah, that has really good music. Matthew, I've only played a little bit of that one, but I do love the soundtrack.
You bring up Lore Arthurian. I see where you're coming from with that, but when you have to deal with the Adamus or whatever that thing's called, my least favorite part of any Assassin's Creed Origin is when you're taken out of the game and you have to go play in present time. I have nothing but disdain for that part. I immediately start looking for like B buttons and ways to skip through that. I'm like, I don't care about the lore. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Assassin's Creed's just disconnected. And it's like, hey, I just want to run around and like stealth kill. And that's about it. I think I beat that one completely. I think part 3 was the one where it did like the twist, which I didn't know about. I was oblivious, even though the game was almost a decade old before I played it. Because it was on like some Steam sale or Humble bundle or whatever I get it in. And you think you're going to be playing as this main character, then like 2 hours in, it's like, psych, you're playing as this other character. I'm like, fine. I mean, it was kind of surprising. That's the one? Okay. All right, Joe, you about right?
Outside Animus. Yeah, maybe I should take a break real quick. Yay! Okay. My
So you take a break?
Yeah. Had a keyboard issue. Had to unplug it and replug it in.
You don't need a keyboard. Just use
use the on-screen keyboard.
Oh man, I don't even think I have one of those installed. Do I? I'm pretty sure there's not an on-screen keyboard. And Debian, is there? Let's do an app search. No, I don't think so. I got some XKey stuff set up. Like if you take this mouse and you press function number 1 on this mouse, it'll activate the spacebar for editing. And DaVinci Resolve. But that's about it. That is about it. Yeah, outside of Lies of P, I didn't see anything else that was incredible to immediately get right back on the Assassin's Creed topic. I think Ubisoft had their thing yesterday, right? Which I didn't watch, or it might have been the day before. I wasn't keeping laser track of it. And they had showed off gameplay of the latest Assassin's Creed, and I was like, oh, they're going to do something new? They're going to mix it up? I'm like, nope, it just looks like another Assassin's Creed. Oh. Oh, yeah, we torched it out of maliciousness. No, like it probably just needs to be reset. Have you heard about Matrix? What about NextCord? Then we can take NextCord and bridge that to the IRC, then bridge that to something else. And I'm like, man, I just need a chat application. I don't need a hobby. And oh man, what's the other one? The one from the Roblox critters. They have like their own version of not Discord, right? Okay, there we go. Slack, then we can go from Slack into Telegram. People with all your chat applications. Let's just all go back to AOL Instant Messenger, okay? Come on. We even had this. I mean, this is an omnipresent problem. Having too many chat applications. You know, early aughts. You know, what was there on Windows? There was an application, I believe it was called like Trillion. And we had what started out as Game, then became ATTYM, then the LibPurple, which was like the unifying instant messenger thing. And instant messengers, just for whatever unexplained reasons, kind of fell out of favor. You know, you used to have your AOL, you had your Yahoo, you had your MSN Messenger. Then later on, you had like Facebook Messenger and all the other bits. XMMP or whatever it was. It was a strange time. Like that was part of like setting up a new PC, right? Like you had to get all of your logins and everything and all your communications. Like that just went away. You just woke up one morning and you're like, that's not important anymore. Strange. Oh no, that happened. ICQ, right? ICQ and IRC and all the other stuff. Like you had to have that. It's weird, man. It's very, very weird. It's not that weird. Let me cut that down to about... I'm going to take that down to about 47 for the gate makeup. We got the ratios where I want it. And let's remove the envelope for that. You know, Trillion might very well be a thing. I would not take that bet. However, I probably wouldn't download anything from the Trillion website just in case. So do you think Trillion's still around, Jill?
I have a feeling it might be. But I haven't looked in a long time.
Let's go find out as a team.
Yeah.
Trillion Messenger. Modern?
Yep, there it is.
Oh, look at this. They've spun it out. Business, healthcare, individuals.
Oh,
it's still available for Linux. Oh, man.
Oh.
Awesome. It's available for Ubuntu 15.10.
Yeah.
Or Fedora 22.
Wow.
Don't worry. They have the updated version for Ubuntu 16.04. Yeah, I think this might be a wee out of date. 2020. Let's see. Are they the same with the Windows? Oh no, and they're just like, we don't do the Linux builds anymore. Get wrecked, nerds. Let's get its own messaging protocol. Yeah, Pigeon is what it eventually became when it was originally game. Then it became Are You Talking to Me? Then it became Pigeon with libpurple.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about when you get up. It's like that used to be kind of like, that's one of the things you set up. You set up your home directory and all that and made sure you had all your logins, but you want to make sure your unified instant messaging client was set up. And that just kind of went away overnight. It did. Like, for whatever reasons, it happened, and I don't think maybe we're not better for it. What is the modern day equivalent? Here's a question I'll post to everybody. Of Pigeon or Trillion. Does that thing still exist, or have the protocols become so proprietary and locked in, like there's really no clean way to do it?
Steve Husband, Iraq nerds. There is a web browser called Arachne for DOS that I used to use, and Linux too. Yeah, Trillion. Oh my gosh. I still have my account, but I don't know if it works. I still have my password and username.
Yeah, never had a Trillion account. Never used it, but I knew it was the Windows equivalent.
Yeah.
Of the because even by like 2000, like I couldn't tell you. Like I could figure out how to log back into my IRC client because I got that written down. But like things like ICQ, AOL, Yahoo, all those other messenger protocols, they're just gone. Like, I don't know. Somewhere, I'm sure, hopefully they've been deleted. Not that there'd be anything interesting on them. And I think about how many Yahoo email accounts I've had over the years. Like back in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, because you could just make them. There was no friction to creating a Yahoo email account. It took like a minute. Like, done.
Yeah. I used to use them for spam and all kinds of stuff for emails for, I had like a separate email for my electronic music. I had a separate email for Linux stuff. I had, it was, that was a thing. Now I just use the Google Gmail filters. My husband still has a Yahoo account.
Yahoo accounts, AOL accounts. I chat pretty much in Google Messenger. Like if I'm going to do any type of, like outside of Discord.
Yeah, same here.
Like I get a couple of conversations that are going on, but they're not like, hey, what's going on type things. They're always like, working on this, working on this, working on this. And for everything else, I just use Discord. Because I like being locked into a proprietary closed source platform. It gives me the warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
Makes me feel secure. That's gonna make somebody mad.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Discord works so well. It's for one, it's pretty secure.
It was easy. Well, let me tell you. Here's what I did. Oh, jeez. We'll go through this. Then we're gonna get started. I gotta get something to drink. We gotta get underway.
Okay.
Microsoft made Discord happen because Microsoft bought Skype.
Yeah.
Skype was Discord before Discord, children, if you don't know. That was your social media hangout, video conferencing chat thing, and it was cross-platform. It worked on Linux and had a great Linux client. And for the time, it was a business. If you want to do video conferencing or anything, or just hang out and chat, we were using it for the podcast before Microsoft bought it. And we didn't quit using it because Microsoft bought it. We quit using it because Microsoft bought it and made it worse, like bad, unusable bad. And that's what Microsoft did with Skype. They took something that was universally just used. Like there was no anything else. They were like, oh yeah, I'm going to Skype you, right? Like it found its way into modern culture. Like even like Dragon Ball Z abridged. There's the space Skype reference. Like it was just, it was the Kleenex. Like, oh, if you're going to have a video conference, you're going to use Skype.
Yeah.
Microsoft bought it and wrecked it to such a point. Discord came in and they're like, hey, we've made it easy to do video calls and stuff like that again for regular people. And just blew up from that, See, Steve's got it. Steve understands Discord. He's like, yeah, I got it figured out. You click on the thing, it does the thing. And never underestimate the power of that.
Yeah.
You can have all of your technical features and your whiz-bang stuff. End users, like I click on thing, it does, oh, got it. Cool, this is what I'm using. You're like, no, I'm going to show you how to use, what is it? What is that horrible voice? It's not TeamSpeak, it's the other one.
Teams?
No, it's the voice only, the relay. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody will bring it. Is it Mumble? It might be Mumble.
Yeah, it's Mumble. It's got a horrible interface.
I mean, it's bad.
It's ugly. Yeah.
Let me see. Let's take a look at the Mumble.
It's what JB, they still use Mumble.
Yes. Yes, this thing. Try explaining to a guest how to use Mumble and get that set up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Joel got it. Testman got it. Yeah, it's Mumble. Like, you know what? I'm glad it exists. If you're using Mumble and you like it and it works for you, beautiful. See, in my perfect world, for audio chats and stuff like that, I'd get everybody using like Sonobus. But getting that set up and configured, like there's too much friction there.
Yeah, too much. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me grab a drink and we're going to get underway. We got a reasonably tight show for you today. I might try, is there a, can I try that like live? Let me check something. Let me break something. Yeah, let me see if I can break the system before we do anything.
Now that it was very low on resources, so it'll probably work.
Yeah, I was looking if they just had like a regular web demo of it, and it does not appear that they do.
Oh, no, you have to add an extension to Chrome. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be that brave.
Okay.
We're going to stick to scrolling around on a website. All right, beautiful people, prepare yourselves, grab a drink. I'll be back in just a minute or two, and we're going to get underway.
Okay. Yeah, Strider, I used Skype not too long ago myself. It's I think Teams is a little better. They have integrated a lot of the features into Teams. But Skype standalone is just fine. Hi, Test Man. Yes. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to today's show because as you can see next to me, there's something cool I'm going to show off. Yeah, so someone mentioned ICQ. That was another one of my, I used that for years. I'm still signed up to it. I checked just a few months ago because I noticed they had an update. So that is cool. Yeah, ICQ. Yeah. I like that little flower logo. Oh, yeah. See my Portal shirt? Ooh. I just heard a click. Something clicked. Yeah, that's not a piece of luggage next to me, no. Aww. So Testman, what distro are you primarily on now? I know you had told me not too long ago, but I think I'm forgetting. I thought it was Fedora or Nobera, but maybe not. We got Glorious Egg Roll in chat. Can tell us all about his work on Nobera. Steve has been luggage with a window. TSA approved. Hey, so true. Actually, I could take this, and hopefully the smarter people know what it is. They should be able to look in there and like, oh, that's a computer. Oh, that's cool. So, Arthur, were you too young at the time to, or didn't have an interest in ICQ when they were using it, when your sisters were using it? Yeah, Strider. Oh, I know a friend of mine got stopped because of his Steam Deck at the TSA. That was Michael Tennell, who I work with at Destination Linux, who Matthew knows too. Skype guy. Yeah, I understand. A lot of my students, when they would use ICQ in class so they could talk to each other. Oh, that was cool.
I gotta hand it to all you kids, all you 20-somethings out there who've made it through secondary school and you made it through university, trade school, and you did it with laptops and mobile devices that were connected to the internet. Those are things I couldn't have done.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. I could barely focus without that distraction.
Yeah, and the internet wasn't even, most people didn't even really start using it till like 95, 96, the end of the 90s. So we were of the elites using it early on.
What we didn't have in class were distractotrons connected to the collected information of humanity. Can you imagine trying to sit through a lecture?
Oh, I know. I can...
Being able to browse a website.
Yeah, I know.
It's chatting to your friends, getting rigged it up, being able to chat with ICQ with each other. This is, you have my respect being able to do that, because I would not have survived
you have to
anything.
focus. You have to focus.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
We're lined up, ready to go. Let's go ahead and rock into this.
And the teachers have to be strict about it, but it's hard when they give you they let you use your laptops in the class. Yeah, this younger generation definitely has had their distractions. Arthur and my nephew's your age, and I've seen what he's had to deal with. He said, sometimes, Auntie Jill, it's so hard. I just have to turn on the laptop. Even though the instructors want us to use the laptop, I have to turn it off so I can focus on my studies.
Hey, that's when you pick up your mobile phone.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Let's get recording. That's recording. Let's double check and make sure that's recording. It's recording. Look at that. There we go. Do your stretches to get to the top of the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 379 in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays when we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux. I'm Vin, that's Jill, that's you. You're watching us live on Twitch. Come do it. I dare you. 3 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Linux Gamecast. What's up? What's new? A couple of things I want to talk about right at the beginning of the show because I didn't realize how many people had no idea what was going on. Have you ever been to Reddit, Jill? What happened to Jill? Is she not saying anything?
I am sorry, Vin. I accidentally muted myself.
You accidentally, or was it on purpose? Did you accidentally?
It wasn't on purpose because I was sneezing before the show started.
Well, actually, Jill, you accidentally forgot to unmute your show.
Yes, I forgot to unmute myself.
I was looking around and I was like, Jill's talking. Wait, am I getting audio? I don't know, man. Yeah, so you've heard of this Reddit thing, this new thing that's been out, just came out yesterday. And come on, I have an old Reddit account, like 16-year-old Reddit account. I've been on Reddit forever. But we were talking about it in Trackmania last night. I was trying to break down, explain what's going on. Because even if you don't use Reddit, one thing you know about Reddit is like when you're searching for stuff, especially for, open source Linux related stuff on whatever search engine you're using, you're going to end up on Reddit a lot.
Yeah, our Linux is very popular.
Open source, Raspberry Pi projects, things like that. And you might be wondering, why does it look like this now? Let's just say you go to our Linux and it says, hey, this is now a private community. What's going on? It's in protest of the API changes, which has affected third-party app developers and also moderators, because Reddit has decided to double down on exorbitant charge to access their API, to the point of the sole purpose of this is just to get rid of third-party apps. And the problem with that is multifaceted, mainly because, not just third-party apps. I use Relay on Android because their Android app is poo. We'll put it like that. But a lot of these third-party apps also offer accessibility features that are not available in the primary app, which is also important. And something you might not think about is moderation features. People who moderate these subs, a bunch of tools have been built that lean into the API to allow people to moderate larger subs effectively. So, this initially started it as a 2-day, we're just going to put everything private. Then the memo came out, I think yesterday or maybe day before yesterday that came out. The CEO said, we're just going to wait them out. They're not going to affect anything. That's the worst thing to say. Because when somebody tells you, oh, you're not going to do them, what do you immediately do? Oh, yeah. So a lot of subs have decided to just stay like this until something is worked out. We're going to see, I hate to see all of this tech drama going on. Yeah. But yeah, that's why a lot of your subreddits that you might normally be visiting, just not there right now, which is unfortunate, but completely understandable.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to let everybody know, a little heads up about what's going on there. We haven't switched our Linux or Linux_gaming or open source and a bunch of other subreddits. They're not private. Well, hopefully they will come unprivate at some time once this all gets worked out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'll be good. Now, working on a couple of things this week in the pipe, coming down to you. I'm finally going to make this. I saw, we use Discord a lot. And we have our own Discord for, Twitch subs and patrons. The thing I see most common is screen share. Desktop audio share doesn't work on Discord under Linux. I see it every week because on TweetDeck, I just have a search saved that just says, just like Linux audio. And people go just constantly. And I understand, maybe you don't know how to get it work. Just make it work. And I'm going to show you how to make that work with Jack. It's really simple. What inspired me to do this is somebody had created a bot that you could put in Discord and host on another server in order to get your desktop audio into Discord. And I'm like, if you're willing to do that, you're willing to install Jack. And it's real simple. I'll show you how to set up Jack, show you how to set up a virtual sync, show you how to connect it. I've never had a problem with this. Been using it since. And it's not just Discord. Anything you want to share audio from point A to point B, you can do it on your desktop. It's not going to cost you a thing. And it's real easy to do. Don't be scared of it. Maybe I'll get that knocked out next week. But I'm trying to decide that Debian 12's out, right? So I want to show people how to build an actual workstation for anything. Now, I'm going to be building an audio workstation, but an actual workstation. And where the planning for a workstation starts with the hardware that you have. I'm not going to say go out and buy this particular hardware. No. Where it starts with the hardware you have, and especially for audio, it starts in your BIOS. That's where you start setting things up. A lot of people don't know a lot of this stuff. I'm going to try to walk you through it and give you an actual appliance if you were looking to build one of those. You know, I have a entertaining intro planned out for it. Outside of that, not a whole lot going on. Jill's built a PC, however.
Yeah. So yeah, I built this. In fact, it's sitting right next to me, and Ven's going to show it on the screen too. I built a new mid-range gaming Linux rig from parts in my computer studio just so I could start using this awesome new computer case I bought, which is inspired by my favorite game, Portal. Honestly, I literally waited for years for this case to be released. The company's name is Perifio, and they use this case for pre-built machines, but hadn't had the case individually sold for a very, very long time. So I grabbed one from their website as soon as it came available, but now it's also available on Amazon. See how pretty this case is? Isn't it cool? It totally is Portal aesthetic. So the case is white and the front panel is rounded, just like the computers in Portal. And it has blue and orange LED fans that glow in this slit in the front panel and in a clear side panel. And yeah, obviously you can tell I love Portal so much that I have a large plush Portal companion cube directly behind me and several Portal signs and turrets that decorate my studio. I've got these little turrets everywhere. And so the specs of the system are, it has a Ryzen 5 4600G in it, 32 gigs of RAM, a terabyte NVMe, an NVIDIA GTX 1660 Super, and I'm thinking of getting an AMD RX 6800 XT for it, which would make it a much higher end gaming rig. And I'm loving the latest AMD cards, at least the ones from last generation, the RX 6950 XT I'm using right here in my podcasting rig, and I have an RX 6600 XT in a rig behind me. So I think I'm gonna keep this my Portal machine all AMD as well. But for right now, it's got a pretty sweet NVIDIA GTX 1660 Super in it, which will be just fine for 1080p gaming.
Oh man, that's nice. You got a nice vintage video card in there, man.
Yes, I do.
Right on. That's neat. There'll be a link to the Portal case from 97.99.
Yeah.
Perifio? Is that the name of the company?
Correct. Perifio.
Okay. Right on. So there it is. It's right. Go check out the video version. Jill's got it right next to her. And she's probably not going to knock it off the...
No. Yes, it is right next to me, and I'm aware of that. If I do, the turrets will come after me. So, Debian 12's up. Bookworm, as they call it in the legend. We got a storm coming in, by the way. So you might hear some boom, boom, boom. There's your fair warning, everybody. Bookworm's finally out. It's a special time of the year. We all rejoice because Debian doesn't come out very often, but when it does, it's always good. So it's time to change your repos from Bullseye over to the Bookworm. Add that non-free firmware. If you're using non-free, which if you're using Debian, chances are you probably have non-free enabled because modern PCs kind of need that to boot. And all you got to do is an apt update, apt upgrade. That's it. Welcome to Debian. Jordan was asking about that earlier this week. He's like, I've never done an in-place Debian. That's it. You change your app repos. You do an update, do an upgrade, do a disk upgrade after that. Unless, I'm going to give you a free little pro tip. So sometimes when you do an in-place upgrade with Debian, you might run into held packages because it just can't figure out what's going on with this. And it's like, I don't know about this particular package, and this is a safety thing. All you have to do is do a reinstall on that particular package, and it'll sort it for you. 9 times out of 13, that'll solve your problem. But what do we get in this latest version of Debian? You get kernel 6.1. Nice to see. GIMP 210. Okay. XFCE 418. Latest and greatest. So on and so on and so on. Now, something that's going to make you hipsters sad. The new minimum processor requirement is i6-86.
I know. You're not going to be running Debian on your But look at it this way. You're not really running those computers anyway. So you can put a Debian sticker on. You can still, put a hard drive in there with Debian on. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah, you can install an older version of Debian with no problem.
And Jill, you've noticed that there's new desktop wallpaper.
Yeah, it's the desktop wallpaper is designed by Juliet Taka, and it's called Emerald, and it's really pretty. I was really enjoying the desktop and the whole theming for this version of Debian, and it also has new fonts, which are come along with a new FNT command line tool for accessing 1500 DFSG compliant fonts, which is really, really cool. A couple of new fonts.
They changed your default fonts. They changed your default terminal font just slightly enough to go, man, that's different.
I know. I noticed that right off the hand when I was playing around with it. And one of the major changes includes the deprecation of OS Prober by default in the Grub bootloader to check for existing OS installations. This, of course, mainly affects dual boot users who will need to rely on dpackage reconfigure now, or you can edit the file etc default grub and ensure you have the setting grub disabled OS prober equal false and rerun update grub, like I will when I install Debian 12 on one of my systems with many distros installed on them. Because I have quite a few computers with lots of distros on them. And I was a little sad when Debian took this out, but it's an easy fix. And I guess apparently then they were having some issues.
I mean, you're running Debian, you already know your way around this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's like let me explain to Debian. It's like, I'm running Debian, I know.
Yeah. And one thing I played with was the Debian 12 I played was the live Cinnamon Desktop ISO, which includes the Cinnamon Desktop 5.6. And I installed the ISO on one of my iMacs, and it ran beautifully. I have several iMacs I use for distro testing. And I'm just going to keep Debian on there because I had Debian 11 on there, but I just did a wipe and a full regular install instead of doing an update.
I'm a huge proponent of in-place Debian upgrades. Everything in the studio, actual production boxes. These aren't playing around boxes. These aren't boxes for fun, entertainment, enjoyment, or other things like that. They're all about business.
Business work. 5
machines have been upgraded. 4 machines. That's not true. One of them still running Debian 10. Laziness is the reason behind that. Do not do a Debian 10 to a Debian 12 upgrade. It will be a bad time. It will fight you the entire time, and it will probably end up in a non-bootable system. But if you're looking for a weekend project, go ahead and try it. So,
absolutely.
In-place upgrades for Debian, not a problem. Straightforward. Nothing to do. You change your app repos. But again, you're running Debian. You already know this. I'm just telling you stuff you already know.
Yeah, it's already stuff we've been doing before.
No other problems with that. And yeah, I'm sitting here. Have I run into a hiccup? Because what I do is usually, because, they don't pin down a hard date until really close to a Debian release, but you just start feeling it by where things at, what's getting pushed in. You're like, it's getting about time. I'll change one of these boxes back here because I have 3 boxes under the desk for 3 different co-hosts. And I'll bring those in and I'll switch one of them over to testing, then another over to testing, and I'll start tracking testing once I'm confident in that. And then I'll move the DAW over to testing. Then I'll move the Threadbooper over to testing. And when they're like, okay, we get a release date, then you can change your apt repos, and you can go from testing and it'll just sync up to 12 and it'll stay there, which is a really cool thing. Happy to see it.
Yay.
Everyone go out and install Debian.
Yeah.
There's a reason everything is based on Debian.
Yeah.
Because Debian is such a good base.
It is the foundational OS. Well, very stable.
It is. It's what you want. It's what you want. That is the It's not even understand it. It's a flawed idea for taking, again, this is like, what are we going to be using to do the workstation stuff? Debian. And a common question or a misinformed statement you'll see is like, okay, we're going to be setting up an audio production system. Or we're going to be setting up a video production system, be it with, whatever. Like, well, if you're going to be running that, you're not going to have the latest and greatest stuff coming out every other week. I'm like, yes, I'm not going to have moving targets under the production system that could potentially break things.
Yeah.
Once I get this installed and working, all it gets is security updates because, next time I cut it on and I update things, it's still going to be working.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go install Debian if you like Debian. If you don't like Debian, go install Suzy.
Yeah.
We don't shout out Suzy enough. There you go. Then I want you to set up the latest and greatest in desktop
technology.
Tickology.
Desktop technology. So yes, there is an innovative new open source desktop manager in development called Kara Desktop. And this is unique. Kara Desktop is a web-based cross-platform desktop environment for Linux, Windows, Mac OS, and Chrome OS. And as Kara states, it is an easy, pleasant, speedy, and exciting way to use your favorite OS. And the default theme is actually, it uses a very bright rainbow of colors, which I'm sure Ven doesn't
Diseased RGB, get it away.
Yes, it's definitely the RGB desktop versions of RGB LEDs. With all the pretty square icons. And it actually reminds me of a cross between my favorite X window manager, Window Maker, with its square icons and dock apps, to the menu systems of Afterstep, Unity, and Budgie desktops, kind of all combined into one. And on the left of the desktop, there is a drawer launcher, which is carefully organized to help you open an app, file, or web page. And the drawers on the right are a quick way to use apps within the drawer, almost like widgets for opening the weather app, calendar, notes, clip art, settings, etc., etc. And you can activate a favorites dock on the bottom of the screen by clicking favorites show at bottom button in the top of the left drawer. I did that immediately because I felt like I needed something down at the bottom as well. And you can also, this is something really cool, is you can split windows in various ways, including a 3-column mode, which is especially useful for ultra-wide monitors, and it worked very well. I had fun testing that on my multi-monitor system. And the menus are actually organized kind of old school in a grid style and are icon focused, which actually makes color-coded items easy to find and remember. And one of the really unique features of the Kara Desktop is you have these things called rooms, and you can access the rooms icon by right-clicking on the desktop. Rooms. So with rooms, you can have different rooms based on what you do and arrange them with things for only that purpose. You can think of them kind of like Linux workspaces, but only
I think a good way to think about the rooms is you think of it as profiles, but just for you.
Yeah, true. But just for you. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that is true. It's like, I kind of was thinking of it as Linux workspaces, but only for certain categories of apps. Like they have a gaming room, theater room, work room. So, but I like your way of explaining it, Ven, with the user, kind of like user profiles. That's a really good way to look at it. And I actually did my show notes for today's LWW on my new portal rig right next to me using the Kara Desktop and its web browser. It's simply called Browser, and you can tile new tabs by clicking the plus sign in the top right of the browser menu. But because the Kara Desktop, it's still in the alpha phase, and not all functions and keyboard shortcuts are working yet, so I couldn't get my show notes to zoom in and out in the browser using the Control plus or Control minus keyboard commands, which I use all the time, so I can read the text easier. So I couldn't do that. So the text was pretty small, but I was able to manage doing my show notes in it.
That's pretty good. And, they were going to tell you right here on the desktop, not ready for daily driver. This isn't we're playing around. There's going to be missing functionality. Mm-hmm. There's something like that. This is this releasing, think of it as demonstration, something to play around with. Now, what can you use it on? Linux, Windows, Mac OS, Chrome OS, even, Raspberry Pi, not a problem. I want to put it on a Chromebook, not a problem. Mm-hmm. Why? Fair question. I hear you. I hear you. What's the point? I've always wanted a unified desktop stack.
Yeah.
Something that would run on Windows, something run on Linux, Mac, Chrome. I'd love to see this as like a launcher for Android possibly, or some version of it. And yeah, the Rooms idea, I like that. You think about having, everything that you normally do, be able to flip your profiles around, but it stays under that primary user, so you could nest those systems. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where it's cross-platform as an Electron. I'm like, not technically, but it's written in vanilla JavaScript, so it doesn't rely on any third-party frameworks. It's got that going for it. It uses some independent libraries, and it looks like it's based on Linux, but the entire desktop environment runs on top of just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Mm-hmm. Are we going to say it's super performant? Probably not. But play with it. Desktop.kerahq.com. I want that. When I think about setting up guides, and we were talking about this a little bit in the pre-show, was, even discrepancies between even versions of Android. Say you wanted to, I was trying to think maybe there's a unified example. And Android's kind of close, but you go back one version, definitely two versions of Android. Mm-hmm. There's a boom.
Oh, I hear that thunder.
I have upset Thor by talking about JavaScript-powered desktops. Deal with it. You missed. You have to rework tutorials. And I would love a unified desktop for all operating systems just to make teaching people how to computer easier. And something like this is kind of interesting. I saw about this and I posted earlier. This is not the first time this has been attempted, and it's not going to be the last time. I found a project from 16 years ago that somebody had done with Firefox, and I posted that in Discord earlier this week. That was kind of fascinating. So, good work, everyone. Good work. I'm going to keep an eye on this and see what becomes of it, because you know what? It looks good. It does. You hear, Jill talking about, and I say it's JavaScript. No, go look at it. Go look at what it does, how it looks, how it functions. A lot of thought has been, I want to be hey,
very innovative.
Innovative, but logically innovative. You're like, hey, Gnome, do this.
Yes, do this.
I look at what they're doing with that UI. I'm like, that actually, it's different. Yes, but it makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Really good work on the design phase. So you might know. I got a little side project, got a little side hustle. It's not really much of a hustle because it cost me money. But work with me here. It's the best analogy I have. I'm on a little bit of a mission to classify and document what works and what does not work when it comes to audio interfaces under Linux, because that's been a big question. I start with FireWire, and of course I do PCI Express and also USB. But if it's a USB audio interface for good, this is really good. It's usually class compliant. That's why I'm not big on USB audio interfaces. You plug it in, it's normally going to work. But if they got some quirky stuff to it, like that Tascam had a built-in digital mixer, I'm like, ooh, can we get that working under Linux? Yes, we could.
Nice.
So when I look for a USB audio interface, it's got to have something more than just an audio interface, right? You want to see if we can get these extra bits working. That's where this guy comes in. PreSonus IO Station 24C, because it's not just an audio interface. No. PreSonus, they fused a fader port, which is a control surface, and a 24C audio interface into just this one production controller. And it's not exactly a new idea. I kind of go through this in the video and tell, Tascam made one back in 2003. M-Audio did one in 2006. Behringer's got the X32 Compact series, keeping the dream alive. But I didn't know. I had a legitimate question. I assumed maybe the audio interface portion was just going to work out of the box because it's based on 24C. how's that going to work under Linux with a control surface? No idea, no documentation. You do a Google search. What do you get? You get one post from like 2 years ago with somebody going, maybe? Mm-hmm. So we had to find out. Big shout out to Kai Linux, Kai Jorel.
Yay.
Kai Jore. I'll get it right in a minute. There's a link to his YouTube channel on our web zone over at linuxgamecast.com. Go check it out for additional Linux shenanigans. But yeah, I played around with this. Does it work with Pulse Audio? Absolutely. Does it work with Jack? No problems there. Taking a look at round trip latency. This is a benchmark, an audio interface that's going to tell you how quick you can get audio in and out of the device. It's really important for real-time monitoring. If you're doing MIDI stuff, you can be playing a bass guitar, anything with effects on it that you want to monitor in real time. It did pretty good with round trip latency. In fact, for USB audio interfaces, it's second on the chart right there. I go through the test bench, everything I have set up. But the important thing was the control surface. This is how you can control digital audio workstations without using keyboard and mouse. I have 2 of them to do this show because my keyboard and mouse, it is a necessity.
Yeah.
My keyboard and mouse is occupied on this machine. Working here. I'm doing the browsers. I got to take care of this. I got to keep track of chat. Got to keep track of show notes. And I'm also switching on top of that, but that's another story. What I have to be able to do during the show is control all of the functions for the DAW live. Now, I don't know about you, but have you tried using 2 keyboards and mouses with one hand?
Oh, yeah. That's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that use a keyboard and a mouse with one hand.
Yeah, no.
What control surfaces allow you? They expose that functionality for your digital workstation. It gives me faders. It gives me programmable buttons. It gives me trim pots. I can tell this one on this side, like, hey, I need you to do these things. And this one's got my jog dial, transport,
yes.
number, everything that I need set up to where I can reach over here. And most important, I can do it by touch. Because
so cool.
It's tactile. I don't have to stop the show, take my eyes off the ball, stop being on the show. Or if I'm in the middle of talking, I can reach over here and go, oh, there's that. All right, we'll do that. So I can just mute myself like, hey, I know where all these things are going. So we wanted to find out, does it work with the 2 popular DAWs? On door? Yes. Out of the box? 100%. It is a pleasant experience on our free open source digital audio workstation. It is. Why? Because Paul's got one. Well, he's got like the big version of that, and he made sure it worked. Then we got Reaper, the big, bad, super evil, closed source, that's the DAW I use. It's a dumpster fire in Reaper. It barely functions. In fact, when I was doing some research for this, I found out that there's an application extension for Reaper called Resonus to get these control surfaces working with Reaper, which is always a bad sign. And, of course, I point out in the video, Reaper is a dumpster fire for control surfaces. But I use it in spite of that because the goods outweigh the bads you can usually make. Anyway, at the end of the day, if you can find one of these like used, like $150, $170, and you're looking for like that combo device, you get a motorized fader, which is really cool. Which is really, really, that's how I sell people. You show them the magic flying faders. You can make the fader jump around and bounce around. And, you can do all your transport controls. You can drop markers, mutes, solos, arm all of your automation. And it works under Linux. So there we go. Now we know. We've answered the question.
Yay.
Does it know how to Linux? And the answer is yes.
Yay. That's good to hear, Vin. It's a good price point, too.
For new, it's missing some stuff. Just go watch the video. I know. Too bad.
It's missing the jog dial, which you like.
Well, it's got a jog knob.
It's knob. Okay, got a knob.
It's got a knob instead of a dial. You just got to reach and touch. And I do compare it to a similar priced just control surface. I'm like, how does this thing just stack up against a regular control surface? And listen, it's me. I don't buy expensive control surfaces. But up against like $150, $190 control surface like the X Touch 1, it's messing some stuff. I mean, watch the video, read the little blurb about it. You'll figure it out. I got faith in you. You're all smart people. But What do we got next? All right. That's right. If you would like to support the show and things like that, where we buy things and find out if they know how to Linux, you can help doing that. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. We also have a wish list where Jill has penguin cups and keyboards. I have cameras and stuffing for insulation for the studio. I got some audio faces down here at the bottom too.
Yeah, you do.
And we also have a store.linuxgamecast.com. We do appreciate your support. Anything you can kick in, share the show, tell your friends, tell a cat, whatever you got going on around you. Or just show up live. Come say hello. Leave a comment or a question below the video, wherever you may be. Even on Odyssey. Every now and then, I remember that we have a Odyssey channel, and I'll go check the comments. And I'll reply to them.
Yeah.
I do stuff like that. If you're a patron, you get access. Oh, if you're a Twitch sub or a patron. Thanks for the resub, Nubbin. Thanks, Don M, for the resub. Access to our Discord. If you're a patron, you get the live and uncut versions of these shows. A bunch of extra things all of our patrons get to see. Anything I was working on. I released that video a couple of days ago in preview mode. Like, here, take a look at it. Get any feedback. And I got some feedback in Discord. Good times had by all. You got anything you want to plug, Joe?
Oh, well, make sure to go check out our merch store as well, where you can get yourself some Frank t-shirts and some Muse Penguin t-shirts.
That's right, forever21.com.
Yeah, forever21.com. Go to our linuxgamecast.com and check out the merch section.
Okay. We are running long, but we still got one last bit to get to. You remember this guy?
Yeah, the cute little Aibo companion robot.
Aibo's still around. Aibo is still eye-wateringly expensive.
Yeah.
Dude, $2,800. Yeah. But it's 2023, everyone. So not only can you do that, you can get the Aibo AI Cloud Plan renewal for 12 months at $300.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we have affordable? You can get 2 paw pads for $10. You can get an iBone.
And a food bowl for $20.
$20 for a food bowl. The dice. This is absolutely too expensive, Jill. Do you get a solution?
Yeah. Yes, I do. So do you want to create a mini version of the Boston Dynamics Robot Dog Spot or your own version of Aibo? Well, then this orange Raspberry Pi quadruped named Dingo is a great solution at a fraction of the cost. So engineering students Alexander Calvert and Nathan Ferguson of Monash Engineering have created an impressive quadruped robot that relies on the Raspberry Pi 4B. And according to the students, the intention was to create a low-cost solution that would be ideal for research and modifiable with additional components. And while using a remote control, you can actually operate its pitch, roll, yaw, and adjust for speed, just like its Boston Dynamics brethren. And I thought this is something that's really cool. I thought it was cool that the students actually used a PlayStation 4 controller for their remote control. Way to go! And this little dingo quadruped can crouch and carry a bit of weight to transport things as well. And what's cool is the body is 3D printable, and there are lots of parts required. There's an Arduino Nano and a huge list of hardware, which includes 12 servos.
Come on. All right. I want to throttle somebody over doing this video because there's like 2 seconds of interesting what I'm here to watch the video about the object, followed by 30 seconds of face cam talking.
Yeah. Well, in the middle of the videos where all the movement is by the doggy.
Give me a timestamp. I dare you to show me this timestamp. I've just been through this entire video.
I think 5 minutes? 5 minutes, I think. I watched it yesterday.
Everything, we get like 4 or 5 seconds and they're like, here, back to face cam.
Back to face cam.
I'm like, I'm not here to watch you talking to the cam. I want to see the Robo-Puppers dance around. And by Robo-Puppers, what do I mean? I want to build a hunter-killer robot
Yes, you do, Vin. And you can actually find the complete parts list on the project's GitHub page, as well as the operating system it uses is Ubuntu, and the coding tools you will need are VS Code and the robot operating system Noetic, as well as custom Python scripts to handle things like controller input. But so yeah, go check out the GitHub page for all that goodness to build your own, and you don't have to pay a monthly subscription fee like you do with the other puppy robot. It's pretty cool. And Ven, you were looking at the cost.
Yeah, I went ahead and broke that down. Your bill of materials on this is going to be more than you would think, but it's significantly less than an IBO. It's about $1,300 US.
Yeah, great.
Now, if you were like, oh yeah, that'd be great to build for like $50, I'm like, this is not what you're going to be looking for. Let's see if we can get it running Windows XP though. That way, that will greatly increase the chance of it going absolutely berserk.
Yes, this is true. Or you could put Windows Millennium on it.
That's right. It'll just freeze up and fall over. Like, what's wrong with your DAG? It's not a DAG, it's Dingo. It ate my baby.
Oh. Well, it's cool because it does run Linux, of course. So
runs in Ubuntu. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, it's based on the Stanford Pupper, which is infinitely more adorable because it's got googly eyes.
Yeah. We talked about that one a while ago, too.
Oh, probably. Yeah, about 3 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this show. Running a little bit long. Had a good time. I think we got everything covered. Moral of the story, just run out there and buy some Sony IBOs. EBOs. Buy an original one. Do that.
No, buy a Boston Dynamic spot. And be in debt for the rest of your life.
I think, we'll look up in the after show. Stick around if you're watching live. We'll find out how much we can get one of those on the used market. But until then, let's roll some credits.
Okay. Aw, thank you to all our awesome patrons. Thanks again, Nubbin and Donim, for the resub. And we have so many awesome people to thank, including our advisors, Omegas and Artherin. And we have awesome executive producers, Barbrandt, Scott M., Mike G., Chicago People, Empty, Blasphemy, Super Dust Stout, Sea Monsters, Darkwing, System T, Mark, DSN Joe, Cairo, Linux, Death Notes, lots of them. I can't name them all, and Chairlings. Our credits are so fast, I can't name them all. But all you lovely people, you know who you are. Thank you for watching and contributing.
Next week, I want you to watch Blindfolded with earplugs.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting, Ben.
You know what? Don't even watch the show, but hop in chat and pretend you are. Just ask inane random questions and see if we can tell. All right, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Do, 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 do.
All right.
Canto 23, welcome. I think I've seen your name before.
Huh?
Yeah, new person in chat. The Canto 23, I think he's been in before, or she. Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much does the Boston... How much do you think is... How much do you think? I'm going to say 40 grand.
Yeah. I was going to say $250,000, but I know there's different versions of it. So
I'm talking about, to put a bow on it, spot.
Okay.
The one that's available for retail.
Okay. So 30,000?
Okay. I think about 40. Ooh, we were both just a little bit off, Jill.
Uh-oh.
Just a little bit off.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. We haven't looked at those numbers in a long time.
$500, which it could be significantly less than you might. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get one. So if you see somebody in your neighborhood with a spot running around, they ballin'.
Yeah.
$1,300 doesn't seem like a bad deal, no.
I've actually seen 2 of them in the wild here in LA.
Yeah, you'll see them bouncing around occasionally.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what I'd use one for. I would get one to play with.
Yeah. I think I would just rather build this the quadruped dingo. Sounds like the better option.
There's just too much going on with it. I'd get in trouble.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't follow the directions just right. You would make your own concoction.
Yes, I would. Oh man, it's always wild when you are trying to get to, like, you're doing a Google image search and like the image is clearly on some sketched out website, and like it's like season up trying to do whatever it's trying to do, but you know, you block and script blocks going off and preventing it. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like the pincher. See, I wouldn't trust myself with the pincher on one of those things.
Yeah.
I just walk around, try to pinch
Pinching
stuff.
people.
I would.
Get their ankles.
That would hurt. That'd break an ankle, man.
Yeah, it would.
Snap it right in two.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. And they're so, I like the dingo one isn't as creepy looking.
Listen, if I put some googly eyes on that, it'd be approachable.
Yeah.
Then it'd pinch you.
Or you could put a duck bill on it, because ducks can pinch you pretty good too. Sometimes they can get aggressive. Or geese.
Let's see. Am I getting The Last of Us? I don't have a Steam Deck Strider.
Yeah, that was exciting. They got it fixed.
But we're going to wait around and... Well, yeah, I do if I want to, like, use those numbers, right? Like, I don't want to do any guesswork. I'll wait. Let somebody else try it out. Find out what the performance numbers are in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Test it out. I will have to test that out, too.
We've already confirmed is that running on your 3060 with your Threadripper 1920X? Cool. I didn't know you had that set up. Oh, Lord, Strider, I keep forgetting how blind you are. Yeah, that looks like a grainy, soupy, artistic oil painting mess. Normal people do not find that acceptable. Image quality, homie. I mean, I love you to pieces, but nah. That foliage looks like an oil painting, man. Look at that. Oh.
Little chunky.
Well, I mean, like if you said, hey, here's a screenshot from the PS3, I'd be like, yeah, it looks rough for PS3.
But it probably looks good on the Steam Deck.
Again, I don't have
a small screen.
Oh yeah, see, it looks pretty good, like right there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look at Arthur being all generous.
I'm gonna back up Matthew because I suffer from the bad vision too. So.
Jill, you're like, hey man, I got bad vision. I don't tell people like, no, it looks fine.
Yeah, I don't do that. No, because. Yeah. Arthur, and that looks like an Android game from 2012.
If we're being nice about it. I mean, yeah, it looks that like I wouldn't want to play that.
Strider says, fine, let's push it to the limit.
And I don't expect like crazy performance. And we started with Assassin's Creed. Let's go ahead and wrap right around that. That's something I had to play around with FSR, figuring out like what resolution, scaling, and you get a hunting pack until you find something, because you can make something run at 60, but like whether or not you want to play it.
Yeah, it's too blocky or chunky.
I don't want like a smeary, especially when you're dealing with like DLSS or FSR, man, because you can end up with some soupy looking, oil painting
and screen tearing.
Don't get any screen tearing. I'm always amazed by that. I was watching somebody who constantly has problems with that. He was playing the Liza P last night, Maximilian. He's like, I'm having this screen tearing. I'm like, how are you having screen tearing issues?
Oh, yeah. I on modern distros, I don't anymore because they've really improved that. But
well, this is like a different level of like with capturing it from another device. Like that's such a solved problem. I guess maybe on Windows it's a bit more hit or miss, but
yeah,
I don't do screen tearing.
Yeah, Wayland is great for that.
But what did it cost you? Absolutely everything. I'm waiting. I'm not going to go kicking and screaming into Wayland. But I was having this conversation with a buddy earlier this week, because I get you start using Wayland or it's on by default or whatever, any problems with it. I'm like, no, man, like just you should be fine. It's like, what are you waiting on? I'm like, I'm waiting for it to do something better than X. Without, without the side effects, right? It's like getting that prescription medication is like, it'll cure this problem. Here's the list of problems that it's going to give you, though. So once those get cleared up, we're good. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, Arthur and I agree. Of course, me and Ven both agree. XFCE is really important. That one, I think when that one is solid and works well on Wayland, that'll be a happy day.
We'll have to see once I get the XFCE's compositor. Like, it's going to take them a long time to do it. They are crazy. XFCE, the code quality of XFCE is spot on. Like,
yeah,
they
it's
don't
very
mess
efficient.
around. It doesn't crash. Doesn't happen. It's stable. My desktop never crashes either. Like, quit lying to the internet, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I recently talked to the head developer on Window Maker, which is, of course, my favorite X-Window manager. And yeah, he said they're starting to think about Wayland now. So that was good to hear, because it doesn't get updated that often.
Oh, yeah. Like, quite, to be perfectly honest, I never expected XFCE to move over to Wayland.
Yeah.
But then again, like, they're exploring it, they're looking at it, they're working on it. And, I'm not, again, I will use the best tool for the job.
Yeah.
My days of, like, having irrational preferences for something, to where it's detrimental to what I'm trying to get accomplished, those days are gone. I'll use the best tool for the job. If there's another desktop manager on Wayland that does something better in XFCE, it's more stable, provides better performance, that's what I'm going to use. You put the game on Ultra and it froze. Thank you for your feedback. So no, I will not be buying.
I guess Matthew, was it running on low settings before? I didn't see. Let me look at the.
Click on that picture and click plus, and you tell me, Joe.
Okay.
And zoom in on that picture. And it's like, was it running on low settings? I was like, that's being optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder. Let's see. It's 60. Okay. I wonder if it would do like medium at 40 or 30 or something like that. It was on auto.
So a mix of low and ultra?
Okay.
What are some things that you typically would sacrifice? Things that are not important to me when I go optimizing to get my 1080p.
Anti-aliasing. That's something that I usually turn off.
I'll keep aliasing. I might not have it like, by 16 or anything. Like really cranked up.
Keep it like bilinear.
Ambient occlusion, I will usually kill that because that's not that big a deal for me. And like
motion blur. Oh, I can't stand that anyways. I turn that off.
Motion blur doesn't bother me as long as it doesn't hit the performance very hard.
Yeah, Arthur and motion blur and motion burr. No.
You can usually dial that down. Like high quality skies, don't really need that. Like usually grass, stuff like that, I'll keep in good shape. Water, I'm willing to cut down to like medium. Mm-hmm. Yeah, motion blur affects people who don't move around a lot. It scares them.
Hey, motion goes burr. Steve husband. The other one I don't like is film grain. A lot of games do that, and it's cool for an artistic effect, like in distance. But I can't stand it. I turn it off.
But that's how I artistically cover up my bad graphics, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's always a reasonable middle point. Typically, I probably wouldn't... going from low to ultra might be an interesting starting point, but yeah, somewhere in the middle there. Somewhere in the middle. And my thing is like, I'm not going to go lower than 1080p. 1080p 60 is like my baseline. It's good to do 1080p 60.
Yeah, same here.
To start. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable. And you know what? If the game doesn't, I can wait. I'll eventually have better hardware.
Mm-hmm. I've been mostly playing 1440 lately, just for gaming.
I don't like 1440 on these monitors because they don't natively support 1440.
Yeah. Well, the 4K monitor. Actually, my 4K monitor, I've been able to run most of my games in 4K at 60 that, aren't AAA titles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the good things about
some
FSR.
Some of the AAA titles you can, but I just don't usually play those. So
with dynamic resolution with DLSS and FSR, I'm playing Assassin's Creed at, for consumer 4K 2160p. Mm-hmm. And they got a frame limited to 70 because it'll run at 90. And it's that balance. You got to figure out what your resolution scaling is going to use. You just got to sit there and spend some time with it and be like, okay, now it looks good to me. And once it looks good to you, go for it. You don't need to be pixel peeping. Like, let me take a screenshot and zoom in super tight. But yeah, that's one of the things you got to look out for with DLSS and FSR when you're using that is once you have your resolution scaling down to a point, everything becomes like an artistic painting and it looks really not good.
Yeah.
FSR, DLSS, doesn't matter. ZSS or whatever you're using, Intel's got one now.
Yeah, the Intel one.
I still gotta... Okay, here's like one of the downsides. Here's one of the downsides about both AMD and NVIDIA not releasing good low-end options with their new cards that they've come out with the 4060, the 4060 Ti, and that last one, a low-end one AMD release.
Yeah.
Is they've caused the prices for the AMD, not AMD, but the Intel ARCs to start going back up.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because people are like, well, I might as well get a real video card for that price. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it had, the 750 had gone down below 300 at one point, and now it's up above it. I've been tracking it too, Vin.
right now, you can get an A770 for $339.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
The Acer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cheaper than the Founders Edition. That's the 16 gig model. Oh. But I've been waiting to find one on the used market because I got a bunch of questions for it. I don't necessarily want one as a primary. I might be able to use it as a primary, but I want to find out like the OBS stuff, what we can do with that. I want to find out DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, and I want to find out like streaming and all.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Yeah, all the stuff like nobody's bothered to
talk about. Yeah. Like I want to see the performance of the drivers in Linux.
Or see how hard it is to get that set up, right?
Yeah. The Ubuntu drivers apparently are very easy to get set up, but I haven't seen people talking about the drivers for the other distros.
I say that, then I think, setting up the AMD drivers, like the binary drivers, like to get DaVinci Resolve working.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to set up. Pretty easy to set up. You look at my DaVinci Resolve guide.
Yeah, I just go through your tutorial.
For that.
It's good.
But even using that as a starting point, just look at the instructions for that. It's easy. I mean, it's like, what? 6 steps to do it. And the point I'm making about this is the feedback of people just, I got a comment today, somebody nerfed their system trying to install them. Because people don't read, Jill.
Yeah, I know. They don't. Yeah, they always skip steps. They get impatient. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it is really, really easy. If you just follow the instructions like they're written down, and no, I got this. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. And I'm like, what step did you skip?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, things like that.
High settings.
Yeah,
45. Let me see.
45. I could pretend I'm trying to play Zelda on the Nintendo Switch at that frame rate.
But that would look great on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked good on Steam Deck. That doesn't look horrible. It's still grainy as hell. But yeah, you got the right tool, Strider. Steam Deck, guaranteed. But then again, like, you went on for like 2 days when the game first came out saying that it was perfect and it didn't need any fixes and there's nothing wrong with it. So, I mean, column B, my man.
Oh, poor Matthew. Ben's giving you a hard time. That's okay. That's part of the fun.
I give him a hard time. I'm reminding him of what he did.
Oh.
Like, how dare you bring up things that I said and actions that I took? Like I said, to answer your question, I have a Steam Deck, bro, so I'm going to wait.
Aiming. Yeah. Yeah, first person games. I don't play on the Steam Deck usually.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's a third person game.
Unless actually I shouldn't say that because I often have my Steam Deck hook up to a monitor and keyboard and mouse, and then I'll play a first person shooter on it, but not with the controllers.
Yeah, if I get a keyboard and mouse hooked up to a Steam Deck, I'm probably next to a real computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to need something a little more powerful than a 36. Well, I don't know.
Trackpad aiming.
I've never tried with a trackpad. We were joking around about maybe doing like an asymmetrical version of Quake 3, especially since, you know, the open source version, you know, it's got SDL too, so we can get away with doing this, is doing a team match where it's one person on one team, just one person, and 4 people on the other team.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now, why would
That'd
this
be fun.
Why would this be interesting? You're like, well, that one person on that one team is just going to die a lot. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. So if they're good, one person could be better than 4 or 5 people.
So to finish the thought, what we're planning on setting up is the 4 people on that team are going to have to use a controller. That's all they can use. Not a keyboard, not a mouse, nothing else. They got to use a controller to play. Just regular, that's all they can use. However, the one person on the other team can use a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
That would be entertaining to watch. Now, who would win? Can you easily defeat 4 console players? Because you got to remember,
if they've been
this
playing
is
a console a long time, maybe not. I mean, some people are really good with using the controller with the first person.
Here's the thing, though. This is Quake 3. There's no auto aim. There's no lock on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never had any extended playing of any video game on a laptop. That's silly.
Yeah, and a trackpad. Yeah, I can't do that. Trackpads actually, I know people love them and use them, but they give me cramps really bad. So I can't use a trackpad. I haven't been able to my whole life. You know, for quick and dirty, yeah, but not extended time. I can never do artwork on it. I always had to, with all my laptops, I've always had to have a mouse with me. Or you know, I like the older laptops with trackballs. They were great. Trackball I like on a laptop.
These days, you just use the touchscreen on the laptop.
Yeah. Well, nah. I don't like doing that either. For playing games, especially. Or artwork. Well, sometimes artwork, depending on if you have a pen or not.
You use your finger. Oh, here's a pro tip. If you have a YouTube channel, I don't think they bothered to send out any notifications about that. I just happened to run across this. I was checking, uploading video, doing something, because you know YouTube Shorts are a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like right now, all of your existing YouTube videos have automatically been opted in to allow remixing for YouTube Shorts by anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can take them. Anything you've ever made from day one. They don't have to ask you. They don't have to do anything. They can just take your content and remix it into their own thing for YouTube Shorts. So that's something you need to be aware of.
YouTube Shorts.
There's no, you can disable that, but it's not obvious how you disable it. Anybody want to know how to disable it? Guess not. Cool, everybody. Have fun tracking that down. It is 4:39. I got to run. Got to go make a show. Everybody have a great rest of your week. I'll see you till then. Jordan's going to be back tomorrow. They might be doing a Portal.
Yeah.
Heaven Empty. They're going to be rocking and rolling, doing their thing, which would be entertaining because they're going to be doing a Portal with a time mechanic, which is like the Portal Reloaded, the fan remake.
Yeah.
That may be terrifying, petrifying, and or stupefying. Friday, going to be back. Trackmania. 14 tracks. We're going to put it to the test. I got to go take a peek because there's one track some people are having trouble getting around. And hey, come join us. We did good. We've been doing a lot of practicing. Last Friday, we popped into the new Trackmania after the show. We did it on live stream. And us old people, we got in Cup of the Evening, took 2nd, 3rd, and 5th place.
Yeah, that was exciting. I saw the screenshot.
Brought it to them. All the kids. Told them to get off our lawns. It was a good time. That's going to be 7:30. Back here on Twitch. See you then. Linux Gamecast Saturday, 8:30. All right, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.